just went to Barney, spent your whole year's salary. I never wore Yeezys, that's a fact. Every week is fashion week for me.
Hello everyone, my name is Esmeralda Dawnfeather and I want to give you a big spooky welcome back to my channel. This is a series I have running on the channel where I school mine and my clients' horses and talk you through the process. Today is quite exciting as I'm taking part in the Halloween horse trials run at the prestigious Jorvik stables. The horse I'm taking with me is a wonderful project horse I've had for about 6 months. Jumpin' Jack Flash, a 10-year-old 16 two-hand Hanoverian stallion. He came to me from a lovely young rider who had been riding him in I think like 1m20 show jumping competitions, but felt he needed more of a challenge than she was able to give. Today will be a test to see if he can keep his cool at a show and to get the word out about him for potential buyers as he is at a stage where I'm comfortable selling him on. Now, when I'm leading Jack, especially around the mares we have in the main barn, I do put him in a chiffney. While I try my best to have the absolute minimum amount of leverage required for a horse, leading him in a chiffney just makes it harder for him to pull away and rear and keeps everyone safer. I just gave Jack a good wash and a groom to make his coat clean. He's just the most beautiful black colour, and when he gets dusty it really gets dull. Plus, I mean, we've got to look our best for a show. While he was drying under the solarium, I made sure everything was packed into the horse box, then came back to put some shipping bandages on him. When I first bought him, Jack had some real problems with trailering, and he can still be a bit tense and rush in and out of the trailer, and he tries to turn himself around during journeys with varying success, but he's heaps better than he was. Aw, good boy. He's shifted his hind over a bit, but overall he travelled very well today. Steady. Well done, Jack. I was very impressed with his attitude coming out of the trailer today actually. He was a little lucky as we were walking into the stable block, but he came off really nicely and calmly. I settled Jack into his stable and then went straight down to the arena to walk my course. This course is set at 1.55 show jumps, and I believe the cross-country fences go up to around 3-star. The course works a little bit like arena eventing, but it's kind of unique to most events I've done in the past. First there are a few show jumps in the arena, then you leave the arena to do a short cross-country course, then finish off back in the arena for a final few show jumps. The course is quite tricky and technical, but thankfully the cross-country is pretty merciful. There are several cool Halloween decorations around that Jack is definitely going to have a look at though. Well, Jack seems pretty settled in, so I'm going to start tacking him up and getting ready. I put a white ribbon in his tail for the warm-up ring and his round. This is kind of like shorthand to let people know the horse is for sale. I always ride him in these combination boots, as normal tendon boots tend to rub his hair out and make him sore. Normally I use a simple jointed snaffle at home, but out competing I tend to need more brakes, so I use the show bridle I have with a Waterford snaffle, and that seems to work for him quite well. He was a little worked up with the show atmosphere and tried to walk off as I got on. I did stop him and make him stand for a minute before moving off.
Music
Now, my warm-up might surprise a lot of people, because with Jack, I don't actually jump him during my warm-up at all. I find he gets way too overexcited and focused on the jumps, to the point where when we actually go into the arena to do our round, it's basically impossible to ride or adjust him, and he will be bucking after every jump. Instead, our warm-ups usually consist of flying changes, lots of transitions within the pace, bending as he can be a little stiff, and making sure he's listening to all my aids and working on the bridle, as another of his bad habits is where he tends to open his mouth to avoid the contact. It's getting hard to reach out. Here you can see me having quite an important conversation with Stein. He's the head groom at Jorvik Stables and quite an accomplished show jumper himself. We know of each other's good track record when selling horses, and he was actually inquiring after Jack. I told him a little bit about the horse and that he was for sale, and surprisingly, Stein agreed to buy him today if he made the top 3 in the show. No pressure then. I actually almost forgot to put my show jacket on. My friend who films for me had to chuck it at me as I was heading down to the arena. As soon as he saw those jumps though, he just focused in on them, and it really felt like he knew what his job was. Here's me sneakily trying to show him the fog effect and large props they have conveniently set up right beside a cross-country fence right before we start our round. Holding him up to this first jump before letting him go straight ahead, because sometimes he can be a bit hasty, and take the first rail. This double was meant to be a 3-stride, but I actually ended up pushing him for a long 2, which, as you can see, he just did with ease and came back really easily for the corner. Taking him up to this oxer, we got a really nice stride to that, and then it was a roll back to this big triple bar, which he just flew over. I pushed him up into a gallop as we made our way out into the arena. As we came around the corner and he saw the cross-country jumps, he sort of hesitated a little bit, but after we jumped the first one, I didn't have a problem with him. And this is the one that I was a bit worried about with all of the stuff that was distracting him. I held him right up until the fence, to the point where I took all of his power away, and he kind of told me he was a little bit upset about it with that buck after the fence. Galloping along the straight here. Honestly, the feeling he gave me on this day is one of the best rounds that we've ever done together. He just really wanted to jump today. I don't know how else to describe it. I held him coming down this hill because it's quite a steep hill and it was a tall fence at the bottom, and we made the jump in 2 strides, even though I did have to push for a long one. Then we came around to another big beefy triple bar, which he did chip in, but we made it over, everything was okay. And then it was an easy 5 strides to the final fence, and we made it clear. I think we had 2 time penalties in the end, but I was so pleased with this round. And I will say, Stein was pretty impressed too. It turns out our best was good enough for 3rd place today, and that's such a great result for Jack. We closed on the sale of him to Stein after the prize giving, so strangely enough, I was getting him ready to take a short walk over to the groom's cottage, not bringing him home in the trailer. It was definitely all a bit sudden. But I know that Stein is a very accomplished horseman, and his riding is at a level where he can continue Jack's education well. It was definitely a bittersweet moment for me, as for all his quirks, Jack is a very lovable horse, and I'm gonna miss him. I got him settled in with the cows at the groom's cottage. Stein is organising a stable for him, but for now he at least has shelter and hay. Then I just had to say my last goodbye, actually managing not to cry this time, although it was a close thing. The last 6 months with Jack have had some real high points and some unique challenges to work through. I've come out of it really feeling like the work I put in on him paid off. I'm absolutely thrilled with our result, and I have high hopes for his future with his new owner. As an afternote, Stein sent me a video of his most recent ride on Jack this morning, so I've put some clips in quickly just for you to see how well they're getting on. That's all from me for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe and start a conversation in the comments. See you guys!